Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. End of the summer, kind of winding things down. We got Federal Reserve governors meeting in Jackson Hole, virtually Wyoming, something like that. Anyway, I do see a lot of the market seems to be moving towards that, and it's kind of like path of least resistance for the time being. They've pointed the stock market back up. They've calmed the currency markets down to a certain degree a little bit here, and everything's just sort of heading in that same direction, heading into that big Fed event. As well, we have hurricanes churning around the Gulf of Mexico, which is adding a bit of a bid to the crude oil market. And inventories at key econs are coming out. Summertime activity, obviously pent up demand from the late winter, early spring there. Econ's coming out fairly robust in the U.S., but obviously with the backdrop of COVID and what happened earlier in the year, we have to take any kind of economic data that prints that we're seeing right now with a huge grain of salt. And I got to say it, everybody, there's a major disconnect going on in our economy right now. You've got stock market valuations heading one direction, and you have consumer confidence heading the other direction. As you can see, these two don't like to diverge too much. Now, one may play catch up with the other. You can see how the market came smartly back here, and consumer confidence did come back on a delayed basis. But either the equity markets are maybe a little bit too far too fast, or consumers are a little bit happier than what they're reporting. I hate to say it, with all the social angst and political angst in our society, I'm leaning towards believing this more than this, but nonetheless, it is what it is. And as I said earlier, the Fed basically guaranteed the market there in early March, and they've continually stepped up and defended the market. Unless they come out with some crazy ass statement through this Jackson Hole, Wyoming event, I don't see any change to this. And it probably points to higher prices heading into September, October. Does that set up a crash scenario? It might. I'll tell you, this is a screwy year. Anything could happen this year. Mr. Barstool and those kind of people, I think, have been put back in the box. But let's see if they come charging out once we come back from Labor Day. So looking at your screen, risk on, risk off, what are we doing in the market today? I think my general message to the site is I'm not really that interested in buying a heck of a lot of stock right now. There are some interesting individual names, VCIM, investment models, stuff like that, where we know we're buying where insiders are long. I don't mind those kind of purchases now. But just sort of blindly buying names and believing that you're buying value right now doesn't make any sense to me at all. But anyway, only time will tell. I typically like to be buying when they're crying and selling when they're yelling. I get the feeling they are doing a bit of yelling in the stock market right now, so that makes me leery. But, it's Brian. I want to buy when it snows and sell when it goes. I don't think it's snowing just yet. So there isn't a heck of a lot of change to this picture here today, and there probably won't be until we're done the actual Fed event, probably coming out the other side of the weekend. Is this a new short here? I don't think so. Is this a new buy here? I don't think so. I don't have anything to do here right now. Could this continuation trade its way lower? Absolutely. You see these chaos levels floating out down below. And things like 78.6 is off the entire range. Hell, we might do 88.6 would probably be down in this area. The only problem here is you can see this market's been very one-directional. And what I'm really worried about is maybe I was a little foreshadowing thinking this was going to be our pivot back up. Maybe we pivot back up like that. But I am hearing lots and lots of talk about there is trouble in international currency land coming down the pike. We'll see what happens. But ironically enough, actually, I'm very bullish of the U.S. dollar. But gee whiz, this has been very, very painful and really boring, I'll tell you, because I'm a little surprised at, like I said, how one directional this has been, but it is what it is. Stocks in the face of this sort of one directional dilute the shit out of the currency, save the economy at all costs. Stocks love this. There's no cost to borrow money. If you can deliver on earnings whatsoever, the market will reward you. And hell, they're changing these indexes to make sure that the stocks that are delivering earnings are going to be in these big indexes, and the stocks that aren't, hey, your day is done. Get the fuck out of here. So, highly manipulated, highly fugazi, obviously very nosebleedy. Do we have a top in the market? Nope. And as I've sort of said before, yes, I did go and buy some insurance, but those insurance policies are underwater. And I'm not really touting going and loading up the boat on put options here. You're just going to have to wait and let this thing top. When it tops, it tops. As simple as that. They always say markets can go far longer for much further than anyone ever expects. And I think the stock market right now is a perfect analogy of that. Our crude oil market, suppose, with the fear of Gulf of Mexico issues, and then also two further drawdowns in supply of both crude and unleaded. We've forged here to new highs, so no top there for our fourth attempt to hunt a top. And of course, like we said, clotheslines, we keep making higher highs here, so I don't see any top. And of course, Kevin likes the oil sector right now, so what a surprise. The guy's probably going to make money on those trades. Way to go, Kevin. I don't like oil. You know me. Dirty 20th century. I want to invest in next century. Give me an algae company. I'll buy algae, but I won't buy oil. Just kidding. Over on the risk-off perspective, selling bonds. All the scuttlebutt out of the Fed is, we want inflation. We're going to do anything we want to get that inflation. So get ready. Bonds might get whacked here. Interesting how the gold is just kind of stalled here, cleaning itself up, desperately trying not to break down any further. Risk on, risk off. When I load up my screen first thing in the morning, I saw big old M staring me in the face in the gold market. Just off of the lower time frames, the traders woke up to all this rollover, but you can see through the day they've brought this market back smartly. But I like to look at these kind of images, and wow, does that gold right now is just sitting there going, do I jump? Do I jump? Do I jump? You can see the bonds, they're like already slipping over the cliff. Oh boy. Interesting to see the correlation between Bitcoin and gold here. And if anything, if gold can put in a few higher lows, start breaking down trend lines. We looked at Newmont today. Not quite ready. But if anything, I do like the idea that, when we were facing ripping up here, I was kind of like, hey, I got to let this thing consolidate. This is exactly the consolidation that I had to see. So, with that said, one of the messages I gave to the community today was, hunt those gold VCIM names where you're buying where the directors are long as they're bringing those stock prices back down to earth. I think that the gold price is going to be strong here for at least a good next 6 months, probably the next year or so. So any kind of companies that can come into the space that are well capitalized, that have half-decent projects and half-decent prospects of their being gold in the ground, I got a feeling those stocks are going to do well in this kind of environment. So I do like all my little junior mining plays. But try and buy value. Shares for debt. Options to directors. Low share count. Right? That's critical in making money in the stock market. So what do you make out of all this? I mean, it's 2020. It's very screwy. Generational cycle shifts. And as it stands right now, it feels like there's just a very small portion of the market that's actually rallying here right now. Do find it fascinating that our Russell 2000 versus the Dow and the breadth indicator and all that stuff I talked to you. Actually, no, I didn't talk about that with you guys. I spent a lot of time in the daily brief talking about that today. So it shouldn't surprise us that generally the market is meh. You know, I was interested in these cruise and these leisure stocks. Could they break out to the upside? And we just never did get the breakout there, eh? Now, if this does break out, actually I have a very clear cup and handle here. So I still have my buy and stop order. And if anything, it wasn't. I didn't really want to see it just go straight line up, because then that would have been A, B, C, D, and you're done. At least this way, we've actually building a base. So this might be a name I might actually go and pick up should the market actually break out and the breadth and all that kind of stuff all start to turn back up. These kind of stocks, and you tell me, is there any room for this stock to move back up here? I think there is some room. So I'm very interested down here. But that's the kind of name that I'd like to see the breadth of the market turn back up. And I'd really like, and I think these guys, they're waiting for that Fed meeting to be done, just so there isn't any sort of huge surprises coming down the pike. As for the corn, thought it was interesting the other day. If you do a fib off of the high back down to the low, this is 38.2 off of that massive range. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, especially into the fall, they don't call it the fall for nothing. Usually there's some sort of correction in the market. I kind of think September's not a bad time for that to happen. You know, you're probably going to have like $10,000 act as sort of a big oscillator, and the market will oscillate around that with 38.2s as key support. But what was interesting about this is, you know, we are working our way higher here, trying to at least. Put in 1 kilo, 2 kilos, another kilo. Oh, they busted that. So we're at 1, 2, 3. Well, we busted that. So we're at 1, 2. We might actually put in 3 higher lows here, which might actually get me to start redrawing bot levels. I think in the short term, what happened here was just this range alone. Remember, we had a pretty big buy coming out of this consolidation. So if we look at just the reload zone, actually here, do the full one, off of this range, you see that that was nothing more than just a 38.2 tag, right? We say, you know, wicks, candle bodies, great trade location. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. So not a big surprise we came down. Oh, look at that level there. Beautiful candle body location. Tails getting eaten, all that kind of talk. A little bit of a turn back up here. You know, we do have a bearish AB equals CD working. But I get the feeling, especially if this Jackson Hole sort of finishes okay, I get the feeling we're doing something like this. So, you know, if we're lucky, actually, we might have a 2 or 3 day nice little counter trend rally window here through the weekend. Then getting sort of ready for the professionals to come back after the Labor Day weekend. We'll see whether we can bottom and pivot back up, or whether we got to roll over and head down. But I think in the short term, this was nothing more than just coming into tails, key support, and good old 38.2, our first stop target. Did exactly what it was supposed to do. Came into the first stop, and it stopped. And now we're heading back up. So, it's not really a buy signal. You know, we've been through this before through this kind of stuff here, right? So almost think of here as almost like, say, here. Or say here. I mean, we don't know what we're going to do later on. Maybe we can consolidate, put in 3 higher lows, and start thinking bullish again. But we're still very early in this consolidation. And worst case scenario, fucking shit hits the fan, all that kind of stuff. You know, we could very easily dump right down into reload zones. I don't see that happening. But, you know, it's always a possibility. Remember, cost of production now is down in this area. So, believe it or not, I actually think this is value. My hunch is probably going to come into this level, and then you can see how long this is. We'll spend maybe the next 2 or 3 or 4 months in this range. So, short term, kind of still rangy. Medium term, I need to see higher lows to actually start thinking about continuation to the upside. with my general propensity, as long as things like momentum indicators are pointing down, my general propensity is still thinking we're in correction mode here. So, interestingly enough, as long as we're still relatively firm in here, and maybe we're still in this range, that leaves the opportunity for the altcoins to have a little bit more party. Some of these damn altcoins I can't get in. They're just running away from me. I wanted to buy this damn UBIC, taken off. I already hit the goddamn double level. In fact, actually, maybe I should be in there selling. Oh, I guess I already did sell here. So I wanted to go and reload back down in here. And I missed I have a bid working right here, and the bastards wouldn't fill me. Jerks. Anyway, he's gone. Nothing I can do about that. But it just goes to show there's bulls out there. You know, this little Geo, I'm trying to get in on him, and they won't pull it back here. Jerks. Keep in mind, I got lots of both of these. I'm just trying to add to these trades. And a couple fun ones. I did notice, not a bad idea if you want a free tutorial. I did a couple what I like to call pocket tutorials for the people over at Coinigy years ago. And I noticed that they're posting on BitTube here. So they've got the old tutorials that I did for them years ago. And actually, this is so cool when you go back and watch this. So you can find this on the BitTube, and I thought it was interesting Coinigy tweeted that out. But what was really cool about this, what I thought, was you actually can go back and pull up a chart and just ask yourself, this is a screenshot from the end of the tutorial. So you can see this tutorial was done back in June 2019. It's fascinating how we sort of said, you know, probably expect some resistance to come in, reload zones up top. And yeah, sure enough, you look at the chart, look at what the market did. Ran up, tagged Mountain Man, and just said, well, I'm done. And came right back down. So you can apply the same principle, reload zones alongside, do this range from that low up to that high, and there is the reload zone, and gee whiz, market pivoted through there. So maybe check out that free video if you'd like a cute little tutorial on fibs. But also, too, I thought it was interesting that they're posting more on BitTube. Keep in mind, Justin Sun bought this platform. I think he wants to make money with this, so I think he wants to get this thing going. And I look at the price chart, and the price chart is so cool because, in essence, it is the application of everything I tried to teach people in these videos. Check out this goddamn setup. I mean, there's a reload zone off of this rally after this W. And then, if you draw a fib off of this entire range, that's a reload zone off of that range. And anytime you get overlapping reload zones, oh man, that's sexy trade location. And you tell me, was that a half decent trade location? Jesus. So, I mean, it's interesting. I did a little old lady nanny nibble way back when here. And I often find this happens, that these nanny nibble levels actually turn out to be the bottom down the road. So, cool sort of walk through how it would a trader, a shark trader, sniper approach this kind of market. How does little old ladies approach this? And, you know, the irony of it all is price is sitting. Basically, where little old lady, you want to join me? Fine. We'll all be banging out doubles when this level's hit up top here together. It's up to you. You want to be a sharpshooter? There's your sharpshooter trader level. Gee whiz. So, interesting also, too, kind of a juxtaposition of fundamentals, i.e. people are actually using this BitTube, and even commercial platforms like Coinigy are trying to ramp up their use of this BitTube and move away from things like YouTube, I guess. And I even asked Kevin whether we could maybe think about doing the Daily Brief recap over there as well. And how is that reflected in the actual asset itself? Well, usually, if there's more demand and there's limited supply, guess which way the price goes. So, kind of cool application of sort of the rubber meeting the road. And I still think this is this kind of market. You find your special situations. This storage, look at that. They're trying to break this damn thing out to new highs. Wait a minute, I thought the market was a bear. What the fuck? I mean, that's the kind of market that we're in right now. I got another one, Ant. It's just going crazy. I'm almost close to a massive double level. So wish me luck on my Ant. Look at that, man. It's getting close. Trying to ramp up top there. Give me a run up to 12,000 and I will be a very happy camper. Anyway, lots of fun. Never a dull moment. PMA for the win. Try to play from a position of strength, people. You know, coming in and chasing up markets like this, does that really make a lot of sense? Maybe wait for the W's. Wait for your indicators to start saying, hey, you know what? I'm seeing W's. And then go and attack. All right, I think I'll leave the free broadcast at that for today. Hope you got some value out of it. All the best. Oh, and reminder, we've got raffle coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. So it gives you a nice 2-week notice. And put your name down in the comments. And also note something that you learned through watching these videos. And all you people that are selling newsletters and trying to get people from my feed to go to your service, I will delete you every single day. And I guess I'll see you on the delete button because I know you're going to be there today. Oh, and throw in a downvote while you're at it. All right, have yourselves a great day, everybody. All the best, and bye for now.